Hello, everyone, and welcome to the podcast for the Degrassi episode. Holy crap, I was not expecting that. No, it's actually called Thunderstruck. Tonight was the 1 hour, 2 episode finale of season 13, and there were so many moments, so many things happened. I'm just going to run through a list of events and talk about some things here and just the order it happened on screen, I guess. So one of the things we found out in this episode was that Becky's brother Luke ended up getting 2 years in prison. I'm not sure if that's a lot. I mean, for someone his age to miss 2 years, it's definitely a bad thing. But is it enough? Is it I don't know the whole law, against everything he did. But either way, it's 2 years. It's a long time. It's a very big impact. And jumping ahead a little bit here, we saw in the preview for season 14, Luke is back and Becky's going to visit him, in prison. And we're going to see a lot more with this storyline. So I'm very happy they're keeping it going. It would have been easy to essentially write Luke off. But they're not, at least, for a little bit. So I'm really happy we're going to see more of that. Becky was, really big in this episode. There were a lot of moments with her and Drew. Will they get together? Will they not? And, Adam and Becky used to be together, and Drew doesn't really want to be with Becky mainly because of that. They keep ending up getting trapped in these weird places. And, of course, we have an appearance of the infamous boiler room. And Drew and Becky get trapped in there. And there's like a gas leak. And then the shutoff valve breaks off. And they're just trapped. Luckily, they make it out in time. But not after a kiss. And Becky was, she seemed to really be into it. And, she's fallen apart after everything that happened with her family and her brother, and she kisses Drew. And, it's going to be really, exciting to see what will happen between them as well. I'm really excited for, all these storylines coming together. And I love this episode because so many people, so many things going on. There were just so many plots, so many characters, little things here, little things there. And, it was a great episode. There wasn't anything completely shocking, I guess, until the final moment, which, of course, I will get to. But it was just a great episode. It was a great Degrassi episode. It was wonderful seeing it as an hour and just so much going on in all different places. So also there is the end of term dance, and we have Zig, who agrees to go to the dance with Maya and Zoe, which of course we know is going to cause a lot of problems. And essentially what happens is Zig gets some alcohol and plays some games with Maya and Zoe at Maya's house. Maya gets really drunk and ends up revealing her true feelings and calling her a bitch multiple times throughout the episode. I was like, damn, all right. And just great acting, great scenes. Maya runs off to go to the dance. She's tired of everything, and Zoe finds her, and they end up kind of revealing how Zoe was hurt at things that Maya did, and Maya was hurt at things that Zoe did, and they make up essentially, and they're singing songs together in the dot. And it was a nice scene again. They got to clear the air, and it was just great. It's nice to see the dot as always, and it's just great. So Miles, we don't really know, is he gonna get with Maya, what's going to happen. A lot of interesting stuff with all these characters. And one thing I really liked was everyone was mad at everyone. We have Zig, Maya, Winston, Zoe, Miles, Tristan. All these people are mad at somebody for something, and they're, this group of friends. And it was just a really interesting dynamic they had. Now, speaking of Miles and Tristan, I guess that was a very interesting and shocking moment. They agree to have a bro date and watch movies. When they get to Miles' house, his sister and Chewie, or Winston, are on the couch watching a movie, and they end up playing charades together. It's hilarious and funny. And then Tristan's Yates secret is revealed, through the game. So basically, everyone finds out that there was sort of something going on between Mr. Yates and Tristan, and it's just really intense. And then this leads to, Miles saying some hurtful things to Tristan, and then they almost kiss out on the rain, and then they actually do kiss while they're playing another game. And Winston tells Miles that he really needs to be careful because Tristan clearly wants him. And at the end of the episode, Tristan says he understands if nothing else happens, blah, blah, blah. And Miles basically says that he kind of might want to do a relationship, which was pretty shocking, interesting. I can't wait to see where they're going to go with this. I mean, there's so much, potential plots they set up in this finale, and at the same time resolved. It's just really exciting for Degrassi moving in, to this next season. And also, we had the big Columbia interview with Claire and her first time in New York City. And Allie is warning her, of course, to stay away from anything Eli. And of course, we know that Claire is going to run into Eli. Now, she thinks she sees him. It's not him. She runs into a pole. She has to get stitches. She almost misses the interview. And luckily, she gets a chance to do a redo the next morning. And because of the storm, her plane is grounded, and the person tells her, is there someone she can stay with, maybe in New York? And of course we know that's Eli, and things get a little awkward. They go out and get food to eat, and they end up talking, and and they both kind of say they're happy they're apart and they're moving on and blah blah blah, and we know they're not. So the next day, Claire does incredible at her interview, and Eli shows up, and tells her he's not over her, and we're kind of back at this. Are they going to get together again? Who knows what's going to happen with that? A lot more with Eli. I think fans miss Eli this season, even though he was in it, quite a bit. Well, not really quite a bit, but, he was still around. And so whatever's going to happen with Claire and Eli, they're these big-time lovers, the favorite couple of the show, and, whatever will happen. Claire's in a good place now. But then we have the shocking reveal that she is pregnant. What? I had no idea. I wasn't expecting that at all. When Claire got the call on the phone, I was thinking something with maybe her cancer or something had come back. I was not expecting the pregnancy at all. That was an absolute jaw-dropper to me, and I cannot wait to see what is going to happen now. Because I'm guessing it must be Drew's. So, what is going to happen with all this now? It's insane. And I am really excited for the next season. This episode, I just think was great. There was so much going on, and characters, reunited and ended on good terms. And there's potential for new things and all these new relationships and all that. And I'm just really happy, and hopefully we'll get to see also more of Jack and Imogen. They also had, a little cute moment or a couple moments in tonight's episode, and it's great seeing them. So hopefully we'll get some plots and stuff with that. I'd love to learn more about Jack. So all in all, a great finale, a great season. I'm very excited to come back in the fall with more podcasts and more Degrassi episodes. And Claire is pregnant. I hope this is not a cop-out and she actually is going to be pregnant, because I really want to see where this is going to go. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for listening to the podcast again all season long, and I will be back in September for Season 14.